Today's lesson is on slope of a line. After today, you'll be able to graph proportional relationships, interpreting the unit rate as the slope of the graph. First, we're going to look at our key idea. The slope of a line is the ratio of the change in y, for the rise, to the change in x, or the run, between any 2 points on the line. So the slope is the change in y over the change in x, or the rise over the run. For a positive slope, the line rises from left to right. For a negative slope, the line falls from left to right. For our first example, we're finding the slope of a line. Tell whether the slope of the line is positive or negative, then find the slope. For A, the line rises from left to right, so the slope is positive. Now we need to find the slope. The slope is the rise over the run. If we look at our 2 points, we're going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so that'd be the run, and then we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that would be our rise. So our rise was 5 and our run was 6, so our slope is 5/6. For B, the line falls from left to right, so the slope is negative. Now we need to look at our rise over run. If we start with our first point, we're going to go over 1, 2, so that would be our run, and then we're going to go down 1, 2, 3. Since we went down, we can say this is -3. So our rise was -3 and our run was 2. So this would be -3/2. For our second example, we're finding the slope of a horizontal line. Find the slope of the line. The line is not rising or falling, so the rise is 0. Now we can look at the run. Starting at our first point, we would count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So our run is 7. So for our slope, we have 0 over 7, and 0 divided by 7 is 0. So the slope is 0. The slope of a horizontal line is always 0. Now we have a couple of additional examples. You can pause the video and try them on your own, or you may follow along. Tell whether the slope of the line is positive or negative, or if the graph shows a horizontal line. Then find the slope of the line. For number 1, going from left to right, our line is falling, so this would be a negative slope. Now we need to find our slope. Starting at our first point, we're going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be our run, so that'd be 5. And then we're going to start at that point and go down 1. So that is our rise, so that'd be -1. So we have -1 over 5, which would be -1/5. For number 2, this is a horizontal line. So our slope for a horizontal line is 0. We do not rise and we do not fall, so the top would be 0, and then from our first point to our second point we go over 1, 2, 3, 4. So 0 over 4, or 0 divided by 4, is 0. The slope of a horizontal line is always 0. For number 3, going from left to right, our graph is going up, it is rising, so we have a positive slope. Now we need to look at the numbers. We go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our rise is 5 and our run would be 1, 2. So we have 5 over 2, or 5/2 is our slope. Now we're going to look at our third example, finding slope from a table. The points in the table lie on a line. Find the slope of the line, then draw its graph. This table gives us coordinates. It gives us our x value and our y value. So our coordinates are 1, 8, 4, 6, 7, 4, and 10, 2. We can choose any 2 points from this table. Then we'll find the change in y and the change in x. This will then give us our slope. For this example, the points we're going to use are 1, 8 and 4, 6. To find the change in y, we're going to subtract our y values. So we're going to subtract 6 minus 8. The 6 is the y value in the second coordinate, and the 8 is the y value in the first one. So we have 6 minus 8. Now we're going to do the change in y for the denominator. Since we started with the 6, we have to start with the 4 when we do the change in y, so we'll do 4 minus 1 for the denominator. 6 minus 8 is negative 2, and 4 minus 1 is 3. So our slope is negative 2/3. We then can graph the coordinates and see that our slope matches up. So you can see that we graphed 1, 8, 4, 6, 7, 4, and 10, 2. You can then see that for each of those points you would go over 1, 2, 3, and down 1, 2. So that gives us our slope of negative 2/3. Our rise was negative 2 and our run was 3. Now we have an additional example. You can pause the video and try it on your own, or you may follow along. The points in the table lie on a line. Find the slope of the line. For this table, our points are 1, 2, 3, 5, 5, 8, and 7, 11. We can choose any 2 points. For this example, it shows the first 2 points. So we're going to the change in y over the change in x. So for the change in y, we can do 2 minus 5 for the numerator, which would be negative 3. And then for our change in x, since we started with 2 on the top, we need to start with 1 on the bottom. So we can do 1 minus 3, which is negative 2. So then I have negative 3 over negative 2, which would be 3 over 2, or 3/2. Now we have another key idea. For parallel lines and slopes, 2 lines in the same plane that do not intersect are parallel lines. 2 lines with the same slope are parallel. For our fourth example, we're finding parallel lines. Which 2 lines are parallel? Explain. In order to figure out which lines are parallel, we're going to find the slope of each line. For the blue line, the slope would be 4 over 1, or 4. Our rise would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and our run is 1. For the red line, our rise over run is 5 over 1. We start with this point, we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then over 1. So our slope is 5. For the green line, we start with our first point and go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then over 1. So it'd be 4 over 1, or 4. So the slope of the blue and green lines is 4. The slope of the red line is 5. The blue and green lines have the same slope, so they are parallel. The red line would not be parallel to the blue and green lines. Now we have an additional example. You can pause the video and try it on your own, or you may follow along. Which 2 lines are parallel, and explain. So the first thing we need to do is find the slope of each of the lines. We'll first start with the blue line. For the blue line, our rise, if we start with our point, would be up 1, 2, and our run would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it would be negative 6 because we went to the left. So it'd be 2 over negative 6, or negative 1/3. Now for the red line, we can go up 1 and then over 1, 2, 3. So it'd be 1 over negative 3 because we went to the left for our run, or negative 1/3. For the green line, we have up 1, 2, so that'd be our rise, and our run would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it'd be negative 2 over 7, or negative 2/7. Now we need to look and see which slopes are equal or the same, and that will tell us which lines are parallel. The blue and the red lines have the same slope, therefore they are parallel. Don't forget to fill out your notes and remember to watch the video again if needed.